So yeah, I guess I was thinking a lot about, you know, I haven't been called like a nigger or blackface or something like that since I was like 10 years old.
But you did that.
And yeah, I did then, but then it was just like kids sort of trying on things they heard from their parents that they didn't even know what they meant. But you know, now even now in my life, it's more like, I guess I still every once in a while get reminded that like everybody, no matter what I do, almost everybody in my life perceives me slightly differently just for being black. Like it's a defining thing about me, even though it tells them almost nothing about me. So like one story that I can remember pretty well is that I had this advisor in college, and I was a molecular biology major, so I was doing science, and I was in his lab, and you know, I was doing, you know, everything was going great. I was doing well overall, and then one day he pulled me and one other black student aside, and he's a great guy, and he just said, you know, I just came from this meeting about getting more minorities interested in science. And he's like, you know, and the one thing that no one said at this meeting that I really thought was like I'm just so happy to have minorities in my lab because they all bring, you know, a different perspective and a diversity to like my science. And I remember that thinking at that time, like, he meant that as a compliment. Like he thought that was great. He thought it was a win-win for everybody, you know. And I just remember thinking like, man, this guy who I thought of as my mentor, like, and I thought I was just a scientist. I thought I was just maybe even the best scientist in his lab, but to him, I was a black scientist. And somehow that my science was different. My biology, my test tubes, all that sort of stuff was somehow different in his mind than someone else's based on something that has absolutely nothing to do with, you know, what I know or what I can do. You know, and it's the same thing all the time. Every time one of my bosses confuses me with someone else that I work with who's also a minority, even though we don't look alike at all, you know, every time I'm walking in a store and even though I'm pushing a shopping cart and carrying a bunch of things, someone asks me questions like I work there, like, you know, you just sort of come up against it all the time where people just assume so much about you based on something that means so little. And it's very like, it always makes me feel very limited for something that I can't control. And it kind of makes me angry sometimes.